Good morning, Medlock Bridge parents. Today is going to be our first session of a parent workshop, and our topic today is going to be digital citizenship. We will be releasing a new video once a week for some digital citizenship lessons for our parents. So it will be a 4-part series, and today will be our first part. In case you don't know me or my voice, my name is Mrs. Fowler. You'll see my email on screen. It's fowlerk@fultonschools.org, and I am the Media and Educational Technology instructor here at Medlock Bridge. This is my 3rd year at Medlock and my 10th year as a Medi and my 15th year in education. In addition to being your Medi, you can see I have a picture. I am a mom of 3 young kids. I have a 4-year-old son and then 2 3-year-old daughters. Kids today, ages 8 to 18, spend 7.5 hours per day on media and technology. And this statistic came from commonsense.org. And we're really going to be exploring what digital citizenship means today. In the last 2 years, the percentage of kids using apps has jumped from 38% to 72%, and this stat is approximately 1 year old, so I want to say that this statistic is even higher. That 72% is probably up to 80 or 90%. Okay, I just wanted to give a background of why we teach digital citizenship in Fulton County. We are a personalized learning device district, meaning our elementary students get devices at a 3-to-1 ratio, so 1 device per 3 kids, and I'm sure you've heard that our middle school and high schools are 1-to-1. So we really need to arm ourselves as parents and arm our students with how to use our technology appropriately. We're handing them this device, and with that one iPad, you can connect to billions of people in the world. So it's a very powerful device. We just need to make sure that when we're giving our students these devices, we know that they will be safe online. So you can see some safety statistics right here. It relates to teens, but I still think it's very impactful. 92% of teens post their real name on their social media accounts. 58% don't think about posting personal online information. And right now we're going to take a look at a video as how much tech is too much for toddlers. Our last stat was more about high school, but we sort of need to think about how we start our students even now. Like I said earlier, I have 2 3-year-olds and a 4-year-old, and in my house, it seems sort of weird, my kids aren't allowed to use iPads or our phones. Just a personal preference of mine. So we're just going to watch this short 30-second video about how much tech is too much.
My game plan was to not let her know technology existed. My 6-year-old, when it's time for her to, put it down for bedtime, it's World War III. We call it crack cocaine. Can we get on our tablets now? Was that enough chores? It just gets really high. It's nearly impossible to get him to stop. Can I have the phone? No. We've never been here before, so I don't know what's too much.
Okay, and you can see that other parents sort of are like us. How much is too much? We're not sure. The kids always marvel when I tell them that I did not have the internet growing up. They ask me how I survived, how I lived. It's just something that we didn't have to deal with growing up. So we sort of, as parents, this generation of parents are sort of winging it. Trying to decide that fine line of balance for our students. That leads us to this website you just saw me pull up, commonsensemedia.org. This is where we get our digital citizenship lessons. It is a research-based company, and they provide resources on how our students can be safe. So we're going to be exploring the 9 different pillars of digital citizenship today and sort of exploring what your kids have learned so far. So digital citizenship is the ability to think critically, behave safely, and participate reasonably in the digital world. And so, like I said earlier, there's 9 different pillars of digital citizenship. Internet safety, digital footprints, creative credit and copyright, privacy and security, cyberbullying and digital drama, relationships and communication, self-image, information literacy. So first up is internet safety. It helps us be safe users of the internet. We talk about green lights being safe, or green websites being safe, yellow we need to ask, and red lights, things that we're on that we know immediately we need to turn off our computer. Digital footprints. With each post, you are building a digital footprint. We need to think before we post, and we need to respect the privacy of others before we post. Our students were amazed to see I pulled up my YouTube channel. And I'm not a big YouTuber, I don't watch it, but my kids do. And I was showing them how my digital footprint was impacted by my children, because when I pulled up a digital citizenship video, you could see those listed in the queue, but then you also saw things like Moana and The Little Mermaid that were popping up. And I asked them, do you think I did this? And they said no. So I sort of talked about how my own children are affecting my digital footprint, or what is put out there in the world. And we talked about if you're posting pictures online, make sure you're asking permission. We've talked about parents posting pictures of their students on the first day of school. Should they put the name of their child's school? How can we be safe? So it was very interesting, the conversations that the students had about our own digital footprints. Privacy and security, how to create strong passwords. How do we spot online scams? And this year, my 5th graders had a great lesson on clickbait, and they loved it. Trying how websites are trying to get us to click with shocking things. We talked about self-image and identity. Reflect on how the internet allows you to remain anonymous, and how you can express yourself through digital media. When I first asked the question, is your digital footprint a bad thing? Everyone said yes, but we had to realize that what you're putting as your self-image out there for your footprint combined is not necessarily a bad thing. You can make sure it's a positive footprint. This is really the biggest one, I think, when we talk about digital citizenship. Most parents automatically start thinking about cyberbullying and digital drama. We've all heard the news stories, but we sort of teach our students what to do if they're being bullied online, and what they can do if they experience or see it. So we talk about the 4 aspects of bullying: being the target or the person who's being bullied, the physical bully themselves, and whether we need to be an upstander, which means we're seeing the bullying happening and we do something, or if you're a bystander, you see the bullying but you don't want to get involved because you're afraid the bully will turn on you. So we've talked about the different situations that we see online and how we can become upstanders. Relationships and communications, different online etiquettes. 1st grade actually did a lesson on emailing and text and how we can change the tone of what we're saying based on emojis. Because when we read something, and as an adult I am a victim of this too, sometimes we automatically spin our own tone into a text message or an email, and you think, oh, I can't believe they said that. But we took their tone of the message wrong. So we talked about how we can portray our tone with our words, because we cannot see people's faces in their body language and their expressions when we are texting or when we're emailing. So how can we make sure we have good online etiquette even though they can't see that? Information literacy is a really big one for me. That is a huge part of my job, making sure students are literate in information. So the ability to identify, find, evaluate, and use information efficiently and effectively. And we need to evaluate the quality and credibility of different websites. I always pull up a website. It's about a tree octopus. It looks perfect. It looks like a great website. They have sites sorted. Sites are credited, and it's pictures of octopus and trees. And I always ask the kids, "Oh, I didn't know this was it. Is this a real thing?" And a lot of the times they tell me yes, which is very interesting to me. So we have to go through and talk about, we have to be critical thinkers. We have to really think, could an octopus live in the forest? So it definitely allows the students to think more critically. Then we need to talk about creative credit and copyrights. We learned that people put work out there. It's not our own. We cannot use it for our own. Google did a really big step last year. If you're doing an image search, you can no longer right-click and copy the image and stick it in your presentation. So last year, all these kids started coming in for projects, and they had no idea what to do. So we've talked about different Creative Commons where kids can get pictures and use them, and how to cite the pictures that we do use. That was very eye-opening to our 4th and 5th graders. They were so used to right-clicking, copying, and just sticking it in and calling it their own. So Google did a great step by sort of protecting the different artists' rights by making sure that they eliminated that step. We can't do that anymore. Okay. And this is really our final slide. I'm a digital citizen. We always have this up for our kids. I stand up and say no to bullying. I listen to my heart and I respect others online. I listen to my head. I protect my private information. When I'm at school, I'll use my device for educational purposes, and I listen to my gut and I make sure that I'm safe and appropriate. Okay, this is the end of part 1, but I sort of wanted to give parents some homework. When you go to commonsense.org, there's a button right here for educators. I'd love for parents to look through. This is the different scope and sequence to which your students learn their digital citizenship. All students, kindergarten through 5th grade, are required to have 5 lessons of digital citizenship each year. So you can see that we have a different K2 band, 3, 5, and then we can go into middle school and even high school. So you can see some of the lessons down here: going places safely, how to use the alphabet to search for things online, keeping it private. I flip into our new 3rd through 5th grade curriculum. Okay, we can go down and we can talk about our rings of responsibility, how to be balanced, this is me, and our digital citizenship pledge. Not that parents want homework, but I would really encourage all parents, spend 10-20 minutes on this website sort of seeing what your students are doing. They got 2 lessons in the Media Center with me. They got 2 lessons with their homeroom teachers, and they got 1 lesson in the STEM lab. We like spreading out our digital citizenship lessons so our students know wherever they go in the building, they need to be safe digital citizens. If they just heard it from me in the Media Center, maybe they think it only applies to here. So we really love that our teachers teach 2 of these lessons so our kids sort of know to spread it out. So as a parent, you can spend 10-15 minutes just looking through these different lessons and talking to your students. This finding my media balance, when I did it with myself, I had to really think, am I showing balance? So that's your first homework assignment. And I will have next week another part of our digital citizenship parent training. I hope you enjoyed.